Let's see. All right, we're recording. Okay. So yeah, so WIT started just shortly. Like I started in December of 2011, and you started just shortly after that. Yeah, and we met, and I was pregnant with my second, and yeah, and Whitney, I remember her and Christy, who is our upline, had a conversation right at the coffee shop. And she was like, okay, tell me what the heck you're doing, what's going on, everything like that. And then so Whitney's gone on the journey to become a personal trainer, and she's done all kinds of amazing things. She's always been the person who she did a lot of incredible in-person events. I remember I was always like, oh, girl, how are you doing this? Tell me what you're doing. Like, she really brought innovation to what it was to coaching, and she's built an incredible team. And so that's what she's going to be sharing with you guys tonight about how to build or how to bring on how to recruit coaches, working coaches, how to build a team of people who want to pay it forward, who want to do this business as well. And so I'll go ahead and turn it over to you, Whitney. I'm excited to hear from you and learn.
Yeah, thank you. Can I share my screen? I made a couple slides so that you guys don't have to watch me the whole time. Let's see. Okay, let's see if it lets you allow me to. There we go. Yep.
Yeah, it should be good.
Perfect. All right. So I love this topic because I think there's so many different facets of how to bring on, coaches on your team who actually want to do this thing with you. And I will tell you, this took me probably 3 or 4 years to really start recruiting and actually finding business builders. And I'll also tell you, I could run challenge groups all day long, and I could invite to challenge groups all day long. It doesn't scare me. It doesn't push me. I have mastered that. And so when my team wasn't really growing and my income wasn't really growing, and I asked my coach, what am I missing here? She's like, you got to find a couple people to do this with you. And when you do that, you'll start to see your income bump up, and this can be a full-time thing potentially if you want it to go that direction. I'm like, okay, well, how do I do that? And she's like, well, do you ever talk about coaching? No, I really hadn't. And but I will also share that is when this business gets really fun, is when you get to bring on people who want to work the business with you, because that means super Saturdays together, summit together, these team calls together, coach events together, retreats together. That's when you find your best friends, really. Most of the women on my team have become my best friends. And so if you're avoiding it, if you're feeling a fear around it, I want you to just ask yourself, what is your belief surrounding coaching? And the women on my team who do really well with recruiting, they have a belief in their heart, in their soul, in their being, that coaching will change, has not only changed their life for the better, but will change somebody else's life for the better. And they come at it from that perspective. And those who struggle with inviting to coaching, they don't really at the heart of it, don't truly believe that maybe it's changed their life or that it could change somebody else's. And a few of my coaches are feeling that way because they don't feel like they have the income to show for it. Like they have to hit a certain mark before they feel like they could recruit to coaching. And I'm going to tell you to flip that, right? It goes the other way, which seems counterintuitive. Like once I achieve success, then I can invite to coaching. And it's the other way around. Invite to coaching and you will achieve success. So much of our brains, let's do this. Raise your hand if you've ever felt or said these questions to yourself when you think about inviting a coaching. Like, why is it so hard to find builders? Has anybody ever thought that to themselves? Yeah. Why does no one want to work this business with me? Yeah. Anybody? Why do I struggle at this? Yeah. I'm seeing head nods. What if people think I'm salesy? Anybody ever thought that one? Yeah. Um, what if people just think I'm inviting them so I can make money off of them? Yeah. Why is it so hard to make money in this business? You ever thought that? Yes. Okay. So we as humans, our brains are like Google search engines. So the questions you're asking yourself are going to be what you eventually find an answer to. So, for instance, you're manifesting the difficulty around it. You're manifesting the fear around it of people are going to think I'm salesy. People are going to think that this is hard. It is hard to find builders. So, two ways to kind of switch your brain around this is start asking different questions. And this is something I learned from Brad Bizjack. If you guys have gone through some of his coaching, it's all about rewiring your brain to ask yourself different questions and live in a different state. So and I'm starting with this because I believe the success to finding builders is changing your mindset around what recruiting looks like and what business building looks like. So what if you ask these questions instead? What if that gal in the grocery store line, like right behind you, what if she was going to pass away 10 years earlier from high blood pressure because you didn't share Shakeology with her? What if your neighbor, mom friend down the street is silently battling postpartum depression and she needs a community? What if this one invite that you're about to send, that person you've been thinking of inviting forever, you're like chicken lister, what if this one invite could completely change this woman's life? What if today I invite the person who becomes the next Lindsay Matway? What if you started your invite time to coaching with those questions? See how you automatically get in this different energy and this different state of mind surrounding your beliefs around this. And that exudes into what you're about to share with the person and how you're going to invite them, right? Instead of coming from struggle, you're coming from, this is a gift. This is a blessing, and I'm about to bless this person's life with this. I think about that every time that Christy was too scared to invite me sitting in the coffee shop. She was too scared. What if when she got home that night, we didn't do a Google chat and she didn't have the 2 seconds of ballsy bravery to be like, hey, have you ever thought about this? Where would my life be right now? So, and if you guys, I always go back to like, did you ever watch the movie We Bought a Zoo with Matt Damon? He's like, it takes 20 seconds of insane courage to like completely change your life. I think the quote is like, sometimes all you need is 20 seconds, like 20 seconds of insane courage. You just literally 20 seconds of like embarrassing bravery. And I promise something great will come out of it. So if you feel scared or you feel nervous about it, or you feel like, what's Crystal going to think of me if I invite her right now? Is she going to hate me? What's her judgment of me going to be? That's all back on me. I'm only thinking of myself. I want to think about how it's going to change her life. Okay. And the way to start with that is, what has it done for your life? And it doesn't have to be a dollar amount. What is this community and Crystal and Tracy's team and Rise Up Nation and Gerald, like what has that given you? So that's where I want you to start when you come at any of sharing about coaching. Start with the mindset piece. And the other thing you can do to get in that mindset piece is like come from a really high energy state with your brain. So ask different questions and change your energy. So I'm in my best, highest state of energy and enthusiasm for this business after I crush one of the workouts with my girls on Zoom in the morning. Like, I just know that that's my magic time because I feel the community. I feel high on endorphins. I'm ready to rock. And so that's my time to shoot out a couple of voice messages to coaching. So let's talk. Let's get into like the nitty gritty, because I'm somebody who's like, okay, that's all great. Give me tangibles. Tell me exactly what you do. I want to know exactly. So I'm going to give you exactly what I do. But again, this will fall on deaf ears if you're coming at it from, like, you guys remember when we did KK's work stuff at the end of last year? If you're like in that depressed, like low energy state, none of this is going to work. So that's why you got to kind of start with, all right, I'm ready. High energy, let's go. Number one is I share about coaching in some form or another every single day in my stories, and then a couple times a week in my posts. So I share this with my team all the time. And then also new coaches coming into Rise Up Nation, we share this, is how to talk about coaching every single day in your stories, even when you're a brand new coach. And there's so many fun, different ways that you can do it without just saying every day, oh yeah, by the way, I'm a coach. There's so many fun ties that you can bring into it. And here's the other cool part. People don't care what you're selling. People want to know like the story and the emotion behind it. So they're going to feel your energy, your attachment to it. But also, if you can share a story of how this has changed one of the coaches on your team or somebody in Team Beachbody's life or your own life, that's going to sell them on this, because they're going to see themselves in that story. So what do we have every Monday morning? Today was no exception, and it was awesome. The National Wake Up Call. And she starts the entire call. I shouldn't just say she, but the coach of the week starts with their story. What if right after you listened to the National Wake Up Call, you got off and you went face to camera and like, holy mackerel, I just got off of my corporate call that we do every week, and I have to share this story of Brittany with you. Brittany is a stay-at-home mom, like she A, B, and C, and this is what she has done now with her life, all because of this opportunity. You don't have to have been a coach for 9 years to be able to share that story. Not at all. You don't have to have 6 figures in this business to share that story. Share other people's stories. Be a story collector. So that could be a Monday idea of something you could share. I've also done it in a post, just the same way you do before and afters of your challengers or shouting people out for their 4-week gut protocol results. You could pull, I always go to the coach of the weeks who's on National Wake Up Call, go to their page, pull a couple pictures. I bet you they have a lot of before and afters that you could share, and then type up a post about their journey, right? So become that storyteller, and you could share that as a post or in your stories that day. Tuesdays, we do our team calls, but we also do like our new coach calls that I love to lead. So I like to share something from the team call that we're doing, or like tonight, I'll show a video that we're on this call, showcasing that there's community, that there's team, that there's help, that there's support. The biggest deterrent for a lot of people jumping into something like this is, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm going to be alone. I'm going to have to figure it out myself. But if they knew they could come into this team and have this kind of support, I bet you they would be more inclined to join. So can you share these kinds of things? Wednesdays, I like to just show myself working, showcasing something I'm doing. Maybe I'm working at home. I talk about a nap time hustle because I'm interested in helping other moms out there who don't think they have the time. They've got multiple kiddos. They're working another job. I'm going to talk about how I fit this in the tiniest pockets, like when my son's asleep. And I'm going to highlight that because I want to show that I'm working. Thursdays is payday in our world. So you could share something you're doing with your $14 paycheck that came in from your one cycle bonus. Or for some of you, your $1,000 paycheck that came in from your, what does that mean to you from $14 that's going to help with Oh my gosh, that's $14 you could pay a babysitter, right? For an hour while you and hubby go out on date night. Maybe it could contribute towards a babysitter. Maybe it could contribute towards paying for pizza night with the kiddos. Or one of my mamas on my team, she was able to afford dance lessons for her daughters using her month's worth of her Beachbody income. That was massive to her. And it is massive. It's massive to the people out there watching you, because especially right now, when a tank of gas costs $100, every little bit counts. So don't diminish your paychecks. Share what they mean to you. It doesn't have to be the dollar amount, but what you're going to do with it, or how you want to pay it forward one day. Maybe your big thing is something like mine, like the dog rescue, how that $50 just paid the adoption fee of one of the dogs at our shelter. It could be anything. Fridays, I share the vision of where I'm going with coaching. So I show, the dream rescue for the dog rescue property. I show my vision board. I'll show, when we're doing a vision board activity, I'll talk about, that we're house hunting, or I'll talk about, sometimes it's a vision of that I'm sitting in my corner office at my home, watching my son play in the front of our house. And he rode his bike for the first time the other day, and I didn't miss it because I was home and I wasn't at my corporate job. Like, share the vision of either what you've created or are creating or striving to create, because people will dream with you and they'll see, oh my gosh, there's something outside of this rat race 9-to-5 life maybe that I could create, or I could bring a second income into my family. That's huge. Saturdays, you could show something fun with your team. I love to show like our Saturday morning workouts. Maybe you're going to the super weekend event next weekend. Definitely highlight that. As Crystal shared, I have a lot of local coaches. So anytime we do a get together on the weekends, I'm sharing that. Show the community or something fun behind it. Or if you don't have something that weekend, show something you did with the girls a couple weekends ago. Do like a reminiscing or a memories from Facebook of your last team get together. You can do it in creative ways that show the community. And then on Sunday, I always like to do coach opportunity post, like a full-on post to my newsfeed, and I'll do them in my stories too. So 15-second clips that say really straight to the point, I'm looking for this specific woman. Here's what she's craving. She's the old me. Here's what she, dreams about, desires. Here's how to jump on board. So I'll do it through my stories, and I'll do it in a post on Sundays. So different ways that you can talk about coaching with, keeping it spicy, but also letting people know like they have something they can join you with. And it's great to share all these things, but follow each one up with a small call to action. Something like when you're sharing your vision on Fridays, say something like, do you have a bigger vision for your life? And then put a poll, yes or heck yes. Or the Sunday coach opportunity post. Have you ever considered, working together on our team? Or have you ever considered joining us for a What is Coaching webinar? Here's the info. Or click below and I'll send you the info. And your poll says yes, or send me the info. So always tying it back in so they have a way to contact you to let you know that they're interested. Something that isn't DM me if you're interested. They're never going to DM you. They won't. They're already scared. So they're probably only, for the most part, ever going to click a poll or swipe a slider or click a multiple choice. Okay. All right. So that's number one. Number two, you guys know this one. This is like coaching fundamentals. Get people amazing results. So this first one, I would say, attracts people who want to build a business. That was me. That was, so it's like if I had watched Christy on social media, which I wasn't on social, so I didn't watch her on there, I would have been probably attracted to this side of it. This piece is going to be a lot of the probably top coaches on your team. They're going to come in as challengers first, and they're going to get amazing results. And then they're going to be sharing with their friends and family, or you can encourage them, hey, what if we did this together and you helped some of your friends and family with this? So ways, and I always have to go back to this one when I'm feeling a lull in my recruiting numbers. I shoot for onboarding 10 new coaches a month. Okay, that's my goal every month. And anytime I'm feeling a lull in that, I go back to this one and I'm like, okay, I need to get back to step one. I need to get people amazing results. First step in that is onboarding them. How do you onboard? If Jess, you have a new client come in, what's the first thing she receives from you, right? Does she have that step one, step two, step three for success that she could go through? It could be a welcome packet. It could be a phone call with you. It could be maybe you do a Q&A at the start of all your new challenge groups so that they can ask their questions and get help. So an onboarding system that works for you so that right out the gate, they know what they're doing. That's step one. If they feel they already are coming in, you guys know this, feeling overwhelmed, like what nutrition program am I supposed to do? How do I meal prep? There's 800 workouts on here. Which one am I supposed to do? Right? So you get to be like the leader, lead them, guide them to some awesome first steps, help them get started. And then keep thinking of new fun ways to keep them motivated and engaged in your groups. Last week, what was her name? Katrina led a fabulous, Katrina Scott, I think her name is, led a wonderful national wake-up call on how to crush bod groups. And I don't really love bod groups. I run mine on Facebook still, but all the ideas still worked. And so go listen to that national wake-up call if you're struggling with like crickets in your challenge groups. They're boring. You're not motivated to be in them. It's a drudge for you to even go check into them. And heaven forbid that you'd have to comment on all your people's posts that day in the group. It's like, right? If you're feeling that way about your groups, it is time to switch it up because you know that they're feeling that way about the group if you are. So think of fun ways to keep them motivated, different challenges you can do, buddy systems, team systems. She had one, what would she call it? Fit Wars. She did a Fit Wars amongst her whole team wide. Everybody brought their challengers in, paired people up. It was a point system. She said it's the best one. They run every year, once a year, they run it. So you can get creative. She's done Survivor. Stuff in our group have been, everything from themes, different Disney themes to different, just find like what your thing is. I have a lot of runners in my group, so we'll do a running challenge. So you can really get spicy with it, create point systems, create leaderboards. And then with each of your people, I have found some people get lost in groups and there aren't so much the ones that even check in maybe with a group. So is there another way that you could keep in contact with them once or twice a week? A quick text, a quick message on Messenger, and then set them up with accountability buddies. So one of my favorite text threads I have is a challenger text thread. And I actually have quite a few because I do pretty small groups, like under 20, definitely, just because group texts are blow up. But group your people, maybe specifically on, like I have just a moms group. And then I have like a women over 40 group. And so when they feel like they're part of a community where other people understand them, and they're getting a group text from me in the morning to motivate them to get their butts in gear and send their sweaty selfies after. And then the group starts to take on a life of their own. A lot of my coaches are they're on right now and they're in these groups. Like they start to help you run them too. And you'll start to notice the bonds that happen between your challengers who have never met before in person. But that's what keeps people in. That's what keeps them getting amazing results. And going on to the next one, like a fun incentive for finishing. Maybe it's a prize. Maybe everybody who completes the challenge, it gets entered into a raffle at the end of the month. Maybe you do, we did a health bet for March. So they had to log their shake every day and log their workout. And if they did that, they won the pot, split up the pot amongst everybody else at the end of the month who did those things. Each one came out like $35 richer than they started. So you could do different fun things to incentivize. I also do a loyalty program with, I have a nutritional card that I can show at the end of this that is like a printout. They could print it out when they get their welcome packet, it's in there. And then every month that they stay on a nutritional, it's like a punch card, like when you go to a yogurt shop or a coffee shop. And then by the third one, they get a prize. Sixth one, they get a prize. So 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, end of the year prize for staying on something for 12 months. You guys know if you have a client staying on, let's use Shake Go for 12 months, they're going to get results drinking that sucker one day a week, one meal every day of the week. So a loyalty program. I also just started a card for body loyalty program. So every month that they stay on body, and try a body workout, they get a punch for that too. So I started that one because of Crystal. Do you remember the guy who led the call? He's the finance guy in the Beachbody world, the coach. And was it Dave Ward? Is that right? He went over, if you have 50 to 100 people staying on body for the year, what that ends up multiplying into just in residual income. So this is all about customer retention and keeping people on what you want them to stay on, not only for your own benefit, you coaching them, but for their benefit as well. And then the first message they get from me right when they sign up and they buy their package is actually, it's in the share a cart email that goes to them as well. It says, you are a preferred customer, or you'll see preferred customer, or you see you're a customer, whatever it is. Here's my referral program. For every one person you bring, you earn $50 to $100 back from Beachbody if they're signing up, obviously, as a coach, or I'll say just from myself as a thank you for bringing somebody in. And what that is just the commission back from that person that they brought in. So you could do one of two things. When they have somebody they want to bring in, set them up as a coach, they get the referral from Beachbody. Here's 50 to 100 bucks, depending on which pack their friend picked. If they don't want to be a coach, and Lauren's like, hey, Whit, I've got this awesome friend, here you go. And I earned the $50 off of that, I'm giving it right back to Lauren. Because guess what? Lauren's going to tell me next month, hey, I got my friend Sally. Sally wants to do it too. Okay, Lauren, here's another 50 bucks, right? So just different ways to keep people enthused, jazzed. That's also, if you create some sort of referral program, that's how you're going to find out who your people are, who have networks of friends that could do it with them. And then that coaching conversation becomes a little bit easier. Like, hello, you need to do this with me. You already have 3 friends joining us. Let's go. So that's number 2. So number 1 was share about coaching daily. Number 2 is get people amazing results. The third way to find your business builders, and this seems weird, but look beyond social media. How many of you, and this might be, I've just always like to ask this question, how many of you found out about coaching through social media? Raise your hand. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. I think 5, like half of us. I didn't. I wasn't on social. Crystal didn't. I don't think that a lot of my dream coaches aren't on social media because they're super busy with all their kids' soccer practices and hockey practices, and they're running all around, and they're moms of multiple kids, and they're out doing and being, and they're running marathons on the weekends, and they're training for triathlon. Like, they're not spending time watching my life on social media. They don't, because I wasn't that person. So where could you find your dream person? Where could you find your business builders? Maybe they're in mom groups that you could be a part of. I started just a fun, like, mom's local hiking group in our town. And the initial people who started coming were people who were in our mom's community. We call it Slow Moms group on Facebook. They were the initial ones because that's where I invited from. But then they started bringing their friends who aren't on social media, right? So then I developed relationships with those people. A couple of them have already become coaches. What about your church groups? I know this is a big one for Crystal, like that the women in her church are become phenomenal coaches. One of the top coaches on our team, she's a personal trainer. I met her at the gym. We were just training clients side by side with each other. And she's like, what do you do other than this? Because it seems like there's something else going on here. And that opened up the conversation. Same with, group fitness instructors. Maybe you go to a gym and you go to a group fitness class. Maybe that group fitness instructor, she wants to make this her full-time job. Have you ever talked to her about it? One of my top coaches came from an employee wellness program that I ran at our local car dealership. If you didn't know this, businesses have amount of money every year to put towards employee wellness programs. So we went in and proposed like a Beachbody one, a Biggest Loser challenge in a way, where they could do a workout with me once, I think we did twice a week, and then they would meet with me and we'd get them on a nutrition program. And the employer bought in and got, bags of Shakeology for the break room. And we did a couple challenge packs so they'd have like an account where the corporation could stream the bod workouts. It was like the whole thing. And one of the employees kept coming. We sat down, we, went through her nutrition every week. She kept coming to the workouts, and she is now one of the top coaches on our team. So these are just ideas that I've had over the years where I've found like one of the most amazing women, and she never would have found her on social media, or she never would have found me. Friends from your past who aren't on social. This can be your elementary school, your high school, your college friends, but you might still have their number, or you might still have their email. And then what about fitness groups that you're in? So let's see, I think Kimmy's on this call. Kimmy and I were in a triathlon club together in college. And then another one of our coaches, we ran together at our local track with a coach because we were both training for Ironman. Like, what are your interest groups that you're a part of where those women, and I always say women, but if your network is also men, that's phenomenal too. Where are they hanging out, and could you start a relationship that way? And they could be your next top coach. I think so often we get stuck in this loop-de-loop of, I don't have people, the same 30 people watch my Instagram stories. I have invited them 1,800 times, and I've followed up with them an extra 1,900 times. They don't want to coach. Okay. New space. Let's switch it up. World's opening back up. It's time to do maybe some in-person groups a little bit, or go branch out a little bit. So looking beyond that kind of social media piece. And then the last one is actually invite people to coaching behind the scenes. How many of you, when you sit down to do your invites, send the same amount of challenger invites as you do coaching invites? Yeah, nobody, right? None of us. I don't even. But that's a piece where when I ask my coach, how the heck am I going to do business, like find business builders? She's like, well, one, do you ever talk about it? And two, do you ever invite to it? No, I said no to both. And same thing, I didn't know when I watched her every day doing her thing, and I didn't know what it was. I was watching her in person, so I didn't see the social media side. I never knew there was something I could join her for. This was something that I could coach with her. She had to tell me, like, spell it out. She had to send me an info video. And she was scared to death to do that. And I'm so glad that she had those 20 seconds of bravery. But do your people who are watching you every day or who are in your life even know that they could do this too? Or is this kind of like your dirty little secret that you don't really talk about? When people ask you what you do you tell them your full-time job? Do you ever mention that you also do this other side thing? Do you ever say it? So start asking yourself, like, do other people know they can do this too? I'm going to have to start inviting people to it behind the scenes, which just means in private messenger or in a text or a voice message. And back to that belief. Believe when you're sending those invites, get in that high energy state, get into that mindset of asking the right questions of yourself. What if this one invite could change Lisa's life forever? Believe that it can change someone's life with every ounce of you. Don't make it about you. Who cares what the outcome is? If they judge you, oh well, on to the next person, right? A lot of people who judge you at first and they're like, hell no, they come back. So you'll be fine. And even so, we did this in the Brad Bizjack little training. He's like, what's the worst thing that could happen? Like if you get in that right mindset of this invite's going to change their life. I'm so excited to send it. I'm going to send it with high energy. And I'm just going to spend the next 30 seconds telling this person how much I want to serve them and bless their life. How would that come through on a voice message? Right? So I'm going to challenge you guys. And in the next 30 seconds, we're going to invite somebody via voice message to coaching. Are you freaked out? Yeah. Okay, good. That's fine. So it takes 20 seconds of insane bravery. So I want you to think, go through, look on your last DMs, or you might already have somebody in mind that you're like, I want her to do this so badly. And maybe you've invited her once before, but it was months and months ago or last year. Maybe it's your best friend. Maybe it's that person that keeps watching you on social or that personal trainer on social. And you're like, God, she'd be so good at this. I wish she just knew how good she would be at this. And then we're going to pick up our phones and we're just going to voice them and we're going to share our heart with them. And when Brad did this on the call, it was like, oh, that wasn't so bad. What's the worst that could happen, right? So I'm going to give you an example. You can totally hear me before you do yours. All right. I'm on my Instagram. Here's what I would say. Crystal, oh my gosh, how are you, girly? I just cannot get over how much you share, like your passion and your enthusiasm and your zest for energy of life with the world. It exudes from you. And I was wondering if you had ever thought about coaching. We have this amazing sisterhood and I just feel like this, I want to do life with you. Like I want to lock arms with you. I want to secretly want to travel with you too. And I just think that we could move mountains together. I don't know if you've ever thought about it, but this Thursday, I'm going to host like a what is coaching webinar, which is some info. Would it be okay if I sent you over the info and you could take a peek and let me know what you think? All right, let me know, girl. Okay, Crystal Milligan just got that in her inbox, right? So, so simple, but just, it was, okay, that was 48 seconds, but it's that energy behind it. It's that enthusiasm. It's that, what if we locked arms and help some women in our community together? Would you be up for this with me? Or if that's a little scary, all you have to say is, would you be open to more info about it? And just end it right there. Don't have to keep going. Don't even have to give them an out. It's okay if this isn't your thing. No, that's like the classic back out. Don't give them a back out. Would you be interested in more info? I think we could seriously move mountains together. Boom, done. Okay, we have 1 minute. Pick your person, grab your phone, and let's voice message them. Just share your heart. Ask if they want more info. I'll be quiet so I don't show up in your voice message right now. Ugh, I just did one of my chicken listers. So good, you guys. Not too bad, right? And you just shared your heart. So what's the worst they can say back? No. But I sure as heck bet with you just sharing and pouring yourself out into that message just now, like, they're not going to be mean. They're gonna be nice about it and go, not right now, but reach out to me, later. Or you can even suggest that. If right now is not the time, as you get talking to them, would it be okay if I reached out to you in a few months and just see if things change at all? Because I truly believe, again, I always go back to this one, that we'd move mountains together. So, all right, you guys, that is kind of the big four. And just like the bonus tip before you do sit down to do any of it is get in that high energy state and ask yourself those questions. They're almost like affirmation questions in a way of, what if I'm about to change somebody's life? What if this mom needs this right now? And what if this woman I'm about to invite becomes the next Lindsay Matway? Like, she has and you see it in her already. You see the potential in her. That's why you're inviting her. So just go out there and bless these people's lives, because you guys have such a gift. So, oh yeah, Crystal's like,
I was gonna say, I don't even know if some of the newer coaches know who she is, because she's been a person for a long time. But
She's the, what do you think? Top earner still to this day in Beachbody. I think she's right around 3 mil a year in Beachbody.
Probably. It's insane.
Just, got in, just, I don't know. She just created this incredible team of really solid builders. And she became a leader herself and was not one at all when she first started. So
No.
it's in all of us. It's in all of you. You can do this.
Yeah, absolutely. Can you real quick to go back to one of the parts that there was questions about with your loyalty program and your rewards with just curious, obviously prices can be whatever, different for everybody, but what kind of things do you throw out there and how do you track that? Are you having them track that 100%? Or are you doing it or how's that working?
Yeah, such a good question. Okay, here's what I've kind of put together. So this is my welcome packet when they first get started with like 4-week gut protocol. I go through, they sign the commitment tracker. So loyalty cards I have near the bottom. We have meal plans. All right. Right here, let's see if I can make it bigger, is the nutrition loyalty program. So it could be anything. They just circle and they can change up what they're on too. They could do Shake Go one time, Boost, Revitalize, whatever they like. So in the first 3, when they earn their star, they get a gift card to their favorite store. When they earn the little wait, 4 to 6 months, they get an awesome fitness gift. So, and based on, I've made these generic because I want to tailor it to who the person's going to be. Like if I know, okay, Crystal would like this kind of thing with her fitness, she'd probably love a new set of dumbbells, but Lauren would probably love like a fitness related tank or a fun little Fitbit, just something simple. Doesn't have to be expensive, actually. Headband, shaker cut for their Energize that's labeled maybe with their name on it. I do an apparel gift after the 9 months. And then if they're the full year, an awesome customized gift for them, which would probably be like a sweatshirt with their name on it. Something that would speak to them. So on your loyalty card, you don't have to just put like, you get this. I think it's fun to then tailor it to who your person is. Do I have the body one right here? Where is it? Okay, here we go. Here's the fitness loyalty. So, so then they would take a picture of this card. It's in their welcome packet. They can print it out and then they would take a picture with it. And that's what this describes is, once you get one and once you earn your star or your weight or your little yoga gal or your diamond, take a picture and post it in our group or text it to me so I can see it. But I mostly want them to put it in the group so we can shout them out. So this is for every month that they stay on BOD and Body. Another advantage to them, obviously staying on Body that you guys know, is they get the meal plans every week. And my girls didn't know that because I never talked about it. I never told them like, oh, this is what your body entails. So I put a whole page together in my welcome packet of what the heck body is. And this is me just making a video of it and all the benefits to body. So I think if we educate our clients on what all these charges are every month that they're seeing, what the value behind the charge is, they're way less likely to then cancel it. So, especially if they know they can win some fun prizes. Did that answer the question?
Yes, thank you. Did anybody else, I think that was like the main question. Did anybody else have any other questions that they wanted to ask?
I have a couple things. One, Brittany was asking if you could share the Canva link for that.
Absolutely.
That welcome guide.
Yep.
That would be super helpful. I would love to use that. And then my other question is, okay, so you get someone started. What is your best tip to get them to run with you?
Ooh, like once they've decided, okay, I'm going to coach. All right. So I have found, you guys do this already, you and Crystal, you put them in a small group pod so that all the new coaches of that class have a community. But then I also plug them into a couple things right when they get started. So I have a Google form that I had them fill out, and that is it's their why. It's to me, them telling me about themselves, because I need to know those things, because that's what's going to motivate them. When they stop showing up to some team calls or they're silent, like I need to be able to go back to that to figure out what fuels them and go, hey, you said this was your goal. Has that changed? Or do I have permission to push you a little bit? And we'll go for that. So pods, the Google form that gets their basic, what drives them. And then, and you guys do this too, is we have the new coach mentorship. And that has been a game changer, is plug your new coaches into our team wide new coach mentorship. Even if you don't put them in the big chat pod, please, if you're like, I need to work one-on-one with this person, they'd be overwhelmed with a big chat pod, totally fine. Add them to the coaching calls. They're Wednesdays at 5:00. And we start a new one every month. And so I find that keeps them engaged, teaches them, gets them excited. Yeah, Tuesdays, gets them excited to learn. And then again, they feel that community piece. I would say for continuing to run after obviously month 1, I just keep honing in on, okay, you helped your first 3 people, you're emerald, like recognize every victory that they have. So they feel like rock stars, right? Every milestone that they're hitting. And then go, okay, what's our goal for next month? Who are our next 3? Like really handhold them if they need to be. Most of us aren't recruiting high enough numbers where we can use the whole, I don't have time to handhold. I think you do, because if you truly mentored them for the first, say, 3 months of this sucker, and they got the basics and the foundation, imagine what they could do. So it is worth, in my opinion, and I don't recruit huge numbers. Like I told you, my goal is 10 every month, 10 building coaches. If you could put that time in with them early on, I think you're going to have some serious runners out of it. So I don't know if that helped, Tracy, but
Yes, I think the key is keeping it simple and not to overcomplicate it or like throw too much at them in the beginning.
I know. Yeah. And who's that? Your virtual upline. I don't know if any of you guys listen to that podcast. I think it's called Your Virtual Upline. It's fabulous. He is all about, if they have to jump through 5 or 6 or 7 different hoops when they first start, they're out. Give them one thing to be successful with in the first month, and then do it again in the second month. Like it has to be so simple and so duplicatable. So if there's 98 Facebook groups that they need to join and 26 chat pods, and they're like a mom of 4, bye, they're not sticking in it. So the simpler you can make it, I think you'll have more success with it. And it also, if they have to jump through a lot of hoops, guess what they're not going to do? Invite their friends to jump through a lot of hoops, because they just like struggled through it themselves. So if it's simple though, and they're like, oh, anybody could do this. Okay, I'll invite my friend Sarah. She could do this with me. Yeah, the duplicatability of it that's everything in this business.
Yeah. Awesome. I think too, just remembering like what you said in the beginning with mindset, really focusing on like the questions that you ask yourself are what you find answers for, and what you focus on expands. So you need to start asking different questions. I love that. And then I love when you said, they're never going to DM you. So you need to like get up in there and invite them specifically. Like, there's the random person once every blue moon that it happens to be like, they just might reach out to you. But most of the time people have to be invited, and often more than once, until they actually say yes. I know I was that person, didn't know what was in front of me. So I had to be talked to about this multiple times. And I know that often happens for a lot of my coaches that I bring on too. I have to talk to them multiple times before they actually say yes. So it's definitely Don't be afraid of that. Be confident in what you have to offer. So that was really awesome, Whit. Does anybody else have any further questions before we hop off? Awesome. I love that you gave us that action step. And if you guys totally faked that and didn't do it, you better do it in the next 24 hours.
I didn't do it.
Do it, Amanda.
I was cooking and I'm just letting you know I didn't do it, but I'm going to.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'm gonna talk to you tomorrow morning. So we'll
Right. Tofu and things. And I picked up my phone and I was like, yes, I'll get there. I just want to let you guys know if you didn't do it, you're not the only one, but we're going to do it.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
Picture, please.
Casey wants a picture, even though she only has a picture.
I'm smiling so hard though.
I bet she'll take a selfie and then pop herself in there.
Yeah.
I was
She's
gonna say,
Photoshop
are
me.
you taking a picture though? Because you're
I'm taking it.
Wow.
I'm taking it.
okay.
I'll Photoshop
okay.
myself in. Everyone say cheese. Thank you, Whit. That was amazing. Thank you so much.
Thank
Yeah,
you,
thank you
guys.
so much for your time. We really appreciate you.
Yay. Thank you. Have an awesome night.
Night.
Bye,
Bye.
guys.